Honest, J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to HJN. Now here on Honest J. Nowak, I'm going to go ahead and bring up something about hominids. Yeah, that's right. An ancient ancestor of our species has come to my attention. And it's mostly because of the fact that there are quite a few things to talk about. Because the evolution of the hominid itself, from its starting point all the way to today's time, which of course was a much different species that we managed to become. But back then, we weren't necessarily called the human being. And the caveman doesn't necessarily count because it was just more of a nickname that we had given to the species of our own type that have happened to have been residing in most caves and the like. And I'm mostly talking about hominids because of the fact that the species itself, based on the primates, that is, they just so happen to hold a huge spot in the animal kingdom. The hominids, of course, have evolved from being the first ever hominids, which were tens of millions of years ago, especially following the extinction of the dinosaurs, also known as the KT extinction event, from 65 million years ago. Because following that event, where the Earth itself managed to recover from such a huge asteroid collision and the like, of course, other species of animals managed to follow. 3/4 of all life had been completely vaporized by the asteroid's impact. But out of the 25% that remained, it included some species of mammals and fish, and a few others out there. The evolution of birds also came into play even up until today's time, because birds themselves hold a huge spot to where the dinosaurs used to live in. Of course, the fact is that evolution has really allowed for some species of animals to thrive within millions of years of life itself following that mass extinction. And after all, the hominids were just one of the very, very few animals to make it out alive. If it weren't for them, hardly any of us would have been here today. But of course, starting from the hominids themselves from tens of millions of years ago, we were able to get ourselves other species of the hominid itself. It did evolve into other stages that progressed all the way up to the human being, which we have now. It started with the hominid on one side of the board, then worked its way up to other species, including the Australopithecus africanus, the Neanderthal, the Homo sapien, and so on. Until we reached ourselves to a certain spot in our lifetime where we finally got ourselves the species that we were going for. We got ourselves a traditional human being. That of which is still classified as a primate, but of course, following the millions of years of evolution that have followed since the first hominids originated from tens of millions of years ago, alongside other animal species, this is undoubtedly a pretty big deal. And it's simply because the so-called theory of evolution itself, Charles Darwin, of course, happened to specialize in this kind of explanation. But scientifically, I happen to see a lot more about this theory and think of it more as something that actually occurred, especially following the mass extinction event from 65 million years ago. An asteroid impact caused 3/4 of all life to disappear. All dinosaurs, all marine life, and all types of reptiles that flew up in the sky. But of course, with some other animal species out there, they somehow managed to live, especially following the many, many years that would follow with dark, cold environments, especially given to the fact that ash had blocked out the sun from that time. But when the smoke cleared, finally, we got ourselves a new stage of life. A new era had begun. The Mesozoic era was officially declared to be finally over. Cenozoic is where we started after that. So, I don't really know about you, but the theory of evolution is just more of a fact. If it weren't for the hominids tens of millions of years ago, evolving into the many stages of life itself that followed after it, then we wouldn't have our own species thriving around here in 2020. AD, that is. I don't know why people will ever want to go through with that. I always thought of the universe as being tens of billions years old and not 2,000 years old or something like that. So I do hope that you like to, keep watching any of my content here. But if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.